Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the 19th hole. We are live on In Between Media, sports, lifestyle, everything in between. We have reached the third major of the 2025 golf season, the U.S. Open, the USGA's version of carnage. Probably the most carnage we're going to get all season, and maybe the most carnage we'll get until the next decade when Oakmont hosts the U.S. Open again. I cannot wait. You know how much I love carnage. If you like carnage, go ahead and like this video because there's going to be lots of carnage in this video. You might as well subscribe to the whole channel, IBT Media, and jingle the bell for notifications for when we go live with more carnage. After this, we're going to get right into it. I hope you're ready. Baby, I gotta add Conor. Where'd you go, Conor? Conor! See, producer of the year here.
Dude, we crush when we're left to our own devices. Like, just kill it every time.
Oh, yeah. Good stuff. Well, we have reached the 19th hole. It is U.S. Open week. Conor, how are we doing today?
I am fantastic. Had Cam Young not gagged away last week or Rory McIlroy showed up, I'd probably be richer too. But what do you do?
Yeah, and ifs and buts were candy and nuts. Yeah, last week, not really that noteworthy. We'll go over the news and the Niblick, but it's going to be a quick one because we're looking ahead, just like Rory was, to Oakmont, Western PA, home region of our fearless leader, Seth Woolcock. Western PA Oakmont Country Club, the best U.S. Open golf course, maybe besides Pebble Beach. It's a toss-up. Oakmont, the most vintage golf course on the U.S. Open Rota. Carnage. We might get scoring in the pluses for the whole field, Conor. Last time this tournament was held, only 4 players broke par for the week. And the time before that, nobody did. Angel Cabrera won at +5 back in 2006. That's tough. That's tough golf. 4 days of carnage. I hope you're buckled up. Since there's no trees or water at Oakmont, I'm drinking water tonight. You got anything drinking, Conor?
I went to Costco and they had some Teeling on sale for $13. So I know it's a cheap bottle, but I enjoy Teeling. It's a kind of a rum and rum bomb a little bit on an Irish whiskey. So I don't hate it.
I don't hate it either. Teeling is classic Irish whiskey, vintage Irish whiskey.
Vintage. A lot of vintage going on. A lot of vintage.
Oakmont is vintage. I'm excited to go over this golf course, but let's get into the news because we do have to go and laud our guest host last week, Keith Fleming, pride of Georgia. The Southern boy comes on here, replaces me while I was on assignment. And the dude,
nobody can replace you, Bo.
But I mean, they should at this point. This guy comes out here at the RBC Canadian Open and drops some wisdom and benefited himself more than anybody because this dude won 11 grand in DFS on his picks that he brought onto this show. So golf clap for Keith Fleming. We'll have you on anytime if you help us win 11 grand at DFS. That's incredible.
Yeah, dude, Keith is a smart dude, tons of knowledge. And
how he got Ryan Fox in his model, I have no idea because he was nowhere near either one of ours.
Dude, he sent me a message on Friday night, and he's like, I'm in this single entry, and I'm the only one that's got 6 of 6 through. And he was in like 3rd place, and I'm like, you got this locked up.
Yeah,
like,
he sent me the same thing, and I sent him the Braveheart. Hold!
Yep. No, Keith is a smart dude, and Bo, you missed out, man. It was a fun show. We had a lot of ideas bouncing off of each other. So Keith is welcome back anytime.
Many things are bouncing on the show when I'm on it, and ideas are not one of them.
Mostly our guts are bouncing around.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was referring to. Let's get into the news around the world of golf, not without Ryan Fox and his victory at the Canadian Open. Let's get it. Well, in case you missed it, there were a lot of guys that Conor and I bet on and played with at the RBC Canadian Open who were close to winning. But the guy who did win was New Zealander, the big, strong Kiwi with the funky swing, no practice swings, Ryan Fox. Second win this season. He won at Myrtle Beach, and now he's won at the RBC Canadian Open at the TPC Toronto at Osprey Valley, the Hoot course. It was a hoot. He won the fourth playoff hole over Sam Burns, who fired a final round 62 to match Ryan Fox's 17-foot birdie putt on the low side lip that went in on 18 to force the playoff, breaking my heart into a million pieces. And then, of course, they go through three playoff holes. They have to move the pin placement after the third playoff hole on the 18th hole because it was just too much the same. They kept making par after par after par. Burns had all these chances to beat Ryan Fox, and he converted on none of them. But I think the shot of the tournament was on the 72nd hole when Fox needed a birdie to force that playoff and hit a 5-wood over water to what a shot. I mean, what a shot. That is a career-defining shot for Ryan Fox. That's what won him the tournament, got him into the playoff where he eventually did beat Sam Burns, our guy, Sam Burns. Sad. I'm crying. But kudos to Ryan Fox. Hung in there and what on the most important hole of the day made it happen. Give me your take, and let's not dwell on it because it's really depressing to see our guy Sam Burns completely take over the show on Sunday and still didn't quite have enough.
Dude, what was more depressing, we'll get back to Burns in a second, but what was more depressing for me was I was all over Cam Young. All over Cam Young.
And I wasn't that crazy.
And I'm watching him lining up the shot coming in on 18, and I'm just like, this is right in his wheelhouse. Like, all he's got to do is put a nice move on this ball, get it on, and we're going to a playoff with Burns. And what's he do? Blasts it 15, 20 yards over the green, and proceeds to duff a chip, then hit an equally bad chip, then blow a putt. It's just like, Cam Young to me is the American Tommy Fleetwood without any level of Tommy's consistency, right? But it's like every time Cam gets into position, he finds a way to gag it away. Every time. And I
think there's a distinction between the two, where a couple of years ago when Cam Young was on tour, he was runner-up like 8 weeks in a row. It felt like he was always pushing for a win. He was always at the top of the leaderboard in majors and signature events before they even existed. And he just didn't quite have enough to win those tournaments. But then he went through a year and a half where he couldn't make a cut. And now he's finally coming back to where he's hitting top 10s again. And now we're starting to get the tease that is Cam Young. Cam Young has all the talent in the world to win golf tournaments, but he's got the choke gene. The clutch gene is 0%. Like you at Madden, you got your toughness rating. Cam Young, not great, Bob. Tommy Fleetwood is not a tease. He's your steady Eddie. I'm going to make top 20 and you're going to like it. And I'm never even going to really threaten a championship. Like if you think I'm going to win a tournament, it's really not going to be close. Even though at the end of the year, when you look back at, look at Tommy Fleetwood had the most top 10s and the most top 20s on tour. He only missed 2 cuts out of 37 events. That's Tommy Fleetwood. He's not a tease. He's your steady Eddie guy who just is never going to win. Cam Young
this week. I love Fleetwood this week. We'll get there, but
why?
We'll get
Cam
there.
Cam Young he's a tease, and he's just doesn't have the clutch gene. Tommy Fleetwood's a good, not great golfer at this level, and yes, it's a grinded out type of golf course. We'll talk about that, but I think there's a distinction between them. Is Cam Young the American Tommy Fleetwood? He's the American Greg Norman.
That'll work.
Because Greg Norman did win some majors. I think Cam Young, he's still really young. He might be a major winner, like a PGA. He's kind of in the mold of Brooks Koepka without that toughness clutch gene that Brooksy obviously had back in the day. I think Tommy Fleetwood is more of your Colin Montgomery, where he never wins a major. He never really wins a lot, but he shows up at the Ryder Cup and he's an absolute thorn in your side at the Ryder Cup. That's Tommy Fleetwood. He's Ian Poulter, even though Ian Poulter also won golf tournaments that Tommy Fleetwood never did.
God, it's going to be a long show because we are going to talk about Fleetwood, so we're going to go head to head on that again. But getting back to Sam Burns, like the most frustrating thing I think for me is Sam Burns comes in as the number one putter on tour and can't get it done from 6 feet, and it's just, I mean, it's
cry. I wanted to cry because
it's just the worst putter on tour makes his putt. The best putter on tour misses theirs. It's just,
yeah. What are you gonna do?
Oh, thanks, Sam Burns. Thanks, Cam Young. Without you, I would have more money in my bank account
and more hair on top of your head.
I don't know if that's a whole yeah.
It's long gone. Even before Cam Young was Cam now.
I don't have a lot of hair, but I have hair.
Yeah. Well, if you keep betting Cam Young, you're not going to have much hair.
You keep taking me to task on Tommy Fleetwood, I'm going to rip your hair out.
How we get it? Well, there was some winning from a guy who has done a lot of winning this season on the LIV Tour. That is Chilean Joaquin Niemann. That was impressive. 4th win on the LIV Tour. This dude has made 53 mil just in winnings on the LIV Tour since he joined the tour. That's really good. He won $4 million total in his career on the PGA Tour before he made the switch, and I'm sure he made a 5 to 6 figure, 6 to 7 figure bonus payout when he did switch to LIV. This he made a good choice. He's winning. He's making money. He's finally competing in a major at the PGA with the 8th place finish and playing pretty hot. Like 4 wins this year is nothing to shake a stick at. And going into Oakmont, it's got to be a good omen for Joaquin Niemann. He's one of my favorite guys to watch. But up until the PGA, he had never finished in a top 20 in a major, despite how good he is at normal events. What's your take on Joaquin Niemann last week in Virginia and going into Oakmont this week?
Yeah, Joaquin Niemann, I think the one thing you and I have always loved about the guy is he's got a lot of different shots. Like got a ton of different shots in the bag. Love the power when he needs it. Love the consistency on approach that he has overall. Like he's a really, really talented golfer. And he's probably I would say the exception to the rule in terms of like staying competitive. Yeah, Bryson pushes the envelope with this too, but I think Joaquin not only is playing competitively on LIV, but he's also coming over and playing competitively in majors. And I think there's a lot to be said for that because a lot of those guys have just taken their foot completely off the gas. And this guy just continues to hone his craft and get better and better every single week.
And he's benefiting in the pocketbook by keeping his foot on the pedal.
Yeah, and I think it just goes to the type of player that he is. Even when he was on the tour, he was the same kind of way. Like it was constant improvement, constant grinding. We always thought he was going to be like the next big thing, and I still think that there's a shot at that.
What is he, 24 years old?
Well, and dude, if we reintegrate the two leagues or the two tours back together at some point here in some capacity, even, I mean, Niemann really can make a run at being one of the best in the world.
Absolutely.
I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see him this week. I think one thing that really popped and helped him at the PGA Championship, it carried over to Virginia a bit, is he's got his putter going, and the putter typically is kind of that Achilles heel for him. Mm-hmm. So I mean, he gained almost 4 strokes at the PGA Championship. So if he keeps the putter rolling this week, carries similar approach numbers, I mean, Joaquin's going to be a force to be reckoned with this week. So.
Yeah, the only place I've seen him really struggle is scrambling on occasion and then short iron approach. He's a really good long iron player. We've always known that. He's really struggled short iron buckets, which there will be a few of at Oakmont. He's actually trending in the top 50 in putting coming in, so at least by my filtered metrics. So I'm not worried about his putting at all. Niemann, my only worry about his odds, which we'll cover in a little bit. On the other end of the spectrum, besides Joaquin Niemann, is Rory McIlroy, +9 through 2 rounds at the Canadian Open when the cut was at -3. Missing the cut by 12 shots the week before a major, not exactly inspiring, Conor, for your guy Rory McIlroy. Is there something wrong here, or was he caught looking ahead when he was kind of stuck in Toronto for a week?
Stuck in Toronto is an interesting way to look at it, since he skipped the Memorial to play in Toronto. But I don't know. I think he was looking ahead, but the thing about it, man, is he's really had a lot of down weeks, especially on approach since the Masters, which
that wedge game went away, but it went back away. Like we were like, oh yeah, Rory at Pebble Beach, Rory at the Masters, his wedges were dialed, and now it's like, yeesh, this is way better than even before.
Yeah, like what happened? So yeah, I think he was looking ahead a little bit, and I think Rory's like, give a crap quotient was probably 0. Tilted pretty good on the what do you have
negative give a crap.
So I think we're good with Rory. I think this is a lot what we talk about with Rory is that if he isn't literally winning, everybody hits the panic button on him. So I like him. I like him this week. I think another week under his belt, getting used to the new driver, getting used to some of the bag changes he made. I think he'll be fine to go here. And you got to remember with Rory, he is the best driver of a golf ball on planet Earth. You're never going to be able to take it away from him.
And that will be very important this week.
Yeah. So I think Rory's fine. I think, I think we both wanted to bring it up though, because I think everybody again is just panic button, right? Like Rory won the Masters. I mean, what's he done? And it's like, well,
there's so many talking points. It's like a soap opera with this guy all season. He's either winning or he's blowing up or he's losing and he's not caring. He's not interested. He's skipping the Memorial. He doesn't even call Jack about it. He goes to Canada for some reason just for a, hey, how you doing? I'm going to shoot +9 and bounce on Friday. I still like him this week at Oakmont, which you're gonna wax poetic about one of the best golf courses on the planet. That is one of the iconic U.S. Open venues. Conor, are you ready?
I am ready to read my pre-written notes.
Okay. That's super inspiring. Can't wait. Conor Coughlin.
The audience can't see it, but now I got Nicolette in the background giving me crap in the private chat too. I just can't get a break around this place.
Hey, if you didn't deserve it, we wouldn't give it to you.
125th playing of the U.S. Open at Oakmont.
That's a lot of versions. And how many times has Oakmont hosted? I think it's more than any other golf course.
Yeah, and I had the number.
10.
I think it's 10, and this is the 10th time.
This is the 10th U.S. Open at Oakmont Country Club in Western PA, on the outskirts of Pittsburgh, the Steel City, the Steel Curtain,
the Berg, as our illustrious leader keeps calling it.
Primanti's, they got fries and slaw on the sandwiches, like insane people. But they got the pews and the thick Kentucky bluegrass rough and the biggest greens east of the Mississippi. Conor, tell me about Oakmont.
Oakmont is a par 70, 7,372 yards. Greens are POA. So Oakmont is definitely one of the most, if not the most difficult course in the U.S. Open Rota. Par 5s are all exceedingly long, with 2 of them over 600 yards. The par threes can be stretched out quite long as well. During practice rounds this week, the 6th hole have been stretched out to nearly 300 yards, which was kind of insane to watch. Par fours on this course are actually relatively short in comparison. So the players will get a little bit of reprieve there. But yeah, the layout is really built to encourage accuracy. The fairways are super narrow. There's several points at which the fairways are like less than 20 yards wide. Tons and tons and tons of bunkering at this course. There's somewhere between 175 and 200 bunkers firmly in play, including the iconic church pews that Bo mentioned, which I believe run between hole 3 and 4.
3 and 4. Yep.
And
they're massive.
And the berms that are in the church pews actually are like layered with native grass as well. So like the aerial view you see of them doesn't do them justice of just how devastatingly like steep and
is it better to be in the sand or the pews themselves? Neither is the answer.
Yeah, the only place to be here is the fairway, if we're being honest. But you hit on it. The greens are pretty darn big, but very challenging, the greens. They're super, super fast. They're going to be between a 14 and a 15 on the stemp. Likely you'll see a lot of guys hitting the green and then rolling off. Just beyond the fringe on almost every single hole is this 5 to 6 inch deep rough. They've intentionally grown it way out, and the ball literally just vanishes. I've been watching guys try and get up and down in the practice rounds, and it's just it's incredible. Like
carnage.
I mean, granted, I hit the same type of duff shots on my public course, but like these guys, I mean, they're getting eaten up by this rough, and the rough isn't just around the greens that way; it's all throughout the course. I mean, literally, if you're a foot off of the fairway, you're in this super, super deep rough. So. Accuracy. The course is likely going to see players in very modest single-digit scoring to par, even possibly even or over par, given how difficult the weekend's going to get. The weather on Saturday and Sunday is supposed to be pretty rainy, pretty windy, so we're adding like between 20 and 25 mile per hour wind gusts to this already ridiculously difficult golf course. Yes. So in the words of Bo, carnage.
And it's something I look forward to every season. We got less of it at LACC a couple of years ago, and it's just been, we need to return to our roots at the USGA and make it the most brutally difficult, make the pros bawl and cry and whine and complain. I want to hear every golfer with the soundbite of "it's too hard, it's not fair, boo hoo, boo hoo." I want all of them. I want Scottie to be slamming clubs. I want John Rahm to spontaneously combust. I want Tyrrell Hatton to pull a tin cup and snap every club in his bag. I want it to be that tough.
We got odds on that somewhere. I'd take that bet. I'd take.
Oh, I'm getting excited for the carnage because 5-inch rough and do you know, like, explaining stimp meter to people, like 14 or 15 it's a measurement in inches. So you have a 12-inch ramp. It's at a 45-degree angle. You put the ball on the top of the ramp and you let it roll down the ramp on a flat surface, and you measure how many inches it rolls out. If on a normal green, you drop it from 12 inches, it rolls out 12 inches. 12 is a standard green speed. These are going to roll out upwards of 15 inches from a 12-inch roll. That means they're like putting on marble.
Well, and even week to week, I mean, generally speaking, what we see is like 14 isn't unheard of week to week, but generally
Augusta National's 13 and a half usually, which is considered very fast.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. I mean, typically, given varying conditions and stuff, most weeks you're going to average out to around 12 and a half, 13. Typically greens are going to play fairly fair on the tour, but
not this week,
especially on these. I mean, and these have got these subtle, slippery breaks to them that just
and the big ones. There's these greens are gigantic, so there's spots that are super hilly, and like even on the par 3/8, which is measuring a driver into the wind for everybody in the field, it's 289 from the back tee to the middle of the green is 289 on that par 3. It's considered the flattest green on the property, and it's not flat. All these greens have huge potato chip vibes to them, So yeah, good luck putting on a lightning fast version of the hood of a Volkswagen.
Well, in that par 3 you just mentioned too, I mean, it garners a 33% bogey or worse rate. I mean, like what?
In the practice round today, they were hitting into the wind and everybody hit driver.
Yeah, I saw that. Morikawa's got a nice clip up of him hitting driver. I watched that one a couple times.
It's that's gonna be fun. Both par fives. There's 2 on the course. They're both over 620. They're beasts. Like the one that would they're gonna have that one. I believe it's number, was it 10 or 11?
10's the 621. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, it's 12. Yeah. So number 12 is 632 from the tips to the middle of the green. They can stretch that out like they did back in 2016 to 684. So that will be if the wind is down, like if it's downwind that day, I'm pretty sure they're going to stretch it out to as far as they can. And that's going to be fun. Like it's a 3-shot hole. 3-shot holes on the PGA Tour are very rare because even at 600 yards, some of these guys like Rory and Ryan Fox and Dustin Johnson can reach it in 2 with a driver and a DOD driver off the deck or 3-wood. Nobody's reaching these par 5s in 2 this week, and that's what's going to be pretty exciting. I think it's great.
I think I actually disagree with you. I think Thursday, Friday, you got a pretty good shot of seeing, like, especially Rory. Driver 3-wood, he can get there.
Yeah, especially if he's hitting the fairway, the 350 carry. Yeah, he can do it.
And I'm not saying Rory's the only guy, but you got to be able to get it about 340, 350.
Yeah.
And if you can do that and be in the fairway, I think you got a genuine look at getting on into, but
you don't want to miss.
No, because then you're proper screwed.
Yes, proper screwed and looking at a bogey, even though you're pin high in 2 in one of those bunkers or in that rough, short-sighted, or above the hole even. Just being above the hole here is a bad thing. Like, you don't want to be anywhere wrong or you're looking at bogey or worse. So metrics-wise, scrambling, bogey avoidance, double bogey avoidance, par 4 scoring, driving distance helps, driving accuracy is paramount. And of course, putting and 3-putt avoidance. These greens, again, are the biggest you're going to see in 10 years. Like, the only place with bigger greens is the Century at Kapalua. And even that, those greens are so slow that it doesn't even matter. These greens are huge and fast.
One thing that I looked at that I added in just to kind of give me a read, and I do this for reasons other than what it's intended for, but I added opportunities gained. I like seeing where these guys are kind of setting up for scoring opportunities, right? So, like, even if we're not going for a birdie, I like the concept of knowing these guys are sticking it close, 10, 15 feet on approach shots. So I baked that one in just a little bit, just to kind of give us a feel for, like, okay, these guys are good on approach, but who's super pinpoint accurate on approach? Because it's going to mitigate some of that size of the green, some of the risk of running off the greens.
Are you going to tell me Scottie Scheffler's number 1 in opportunities gained? Because
I'm going to tell you Scottie Scheffler, at least in the way I filtered, is number 1 in opportunities gained.
Shocker.
Yeah,
I'm going to add that to my filter right now just so I can see what it does with my filtering, because you know how I do it. I'm just like the most filtered.
Well, it was wild too, because I wouldn't have told you Colin Morikawa would have been second over the last 36 rounds, but he is. And then it goes Sepp Straka followed by JT. JT is not as surprising because when JT's got the irons going, very elite iron game. And then Niemann is 5th, so right back to him.
All right, so number 1 in my filter in opportunities gained, drum roll please. Defending U.S. Open champion at Oakmont, Dustin Johnson. Interesting. Number 2, Scottie Scheffler. Number 3, our guy, Bud Colley.
Mr. Bud Colley.
And
a little interest in Bud Colley this week.
Yeah, a lot of guys here that we're expecting to talk about. Lowry, Rahm, Morikawa. Yeah, they're all here in opportunities gained. It's the Alex Noren stat. It doesn't mean a whole lot until it does. But yeah, I was interested. So yeah, Scottie Scheffler number 2, shocker.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I'm just using it to try and narrow that gap a little bit, because you can look at it, you can look at approach game across all these guys and find the buckets they're really good in, but what you can't find is that metric, how close they're actually hitting it to the pin. And so that's what I'm using it for. I'm not using it as intended, which is to rate how often we're looking at birdie. I'm just looking at how close we can hit it.
All right. Well, let's bet on some golf. U.S. Open style. Let's bet on some carnage. You ready?
I'm ready.
Club Twirls.
I think we got to update our swings. Like, I know you got some new lumber. I got some new lumber.
Mm-hmm.
I hit one 318 on Sunday. So the old boy can still put
off the sprinkler head, down the cart path, downwind.
Dude, when you get 245 pounds going in one direction with a tailwind, whew, look out, world.
Yeah. I feel you. I know exactly what it is. Just add 50 to that, and that's how much weight I put behind it.
And you're younger than me, so I can only imagine. Probably
much younger, much more flexible. I think we still have a pair of great golf swings, honestly.
I will.
My swing hasn't. Yeah, my swing hasn't changed much. Although, yes, the lumber has changed, and I was hitting balls farther, carrying them farther with my new driver off the toe than I could do with my sweet spot on my previous stick. So we're excited for summer when the weather warms up and the fairways get hot. The ball's gonna be rolling.
Yeah, you give me every bet, like every sort of advantage possible. Oh yeah, we're over 300. We can do it.
Just barely. All right. Betting on golf, Scottie Scheffler. Some guy named Scottie Scheffler is at plus 270. And we normally say, yeah, go ahead and bet Scottie Scheffler because he wins all the time. But this week, are we doing it? Is this Scottie Scheffler's golf course? Is this his tournament to win? A lot of people will say yes. I'm hesitant to bet on him because I look at Oakmont, and yes, Scottie Scheffler, good off the tee, amazing on approach, but 3-putt avoidance, not great. His approach on the shorter distances, not as good. He's not the longest hitter, which will be an advantage here, and he's 70th at putting on fast greens. So we've seen him putt on moderate greens and slow greens, and he's 8th on tour in strokes gained putting overall, which makes it extremely difficult to beat him at anything. But we're talking about very fast, very difficult greens to read. He's not the best greens reader. I think Ted Scott's better at reading greens than he is, but he doesn't let Ted come in very often.
No, and that's the most frustrating thing. I don't know how much of the show last week you caught, but Keith and I were actually talking about this a little bit because I made the comment that Scottie was rolling the ball exceedingly well, and Keith's counterpoint was, well, he wasn't making anything. I said that's essentially that's not what I said. What I said was Scottie is rolling the ball really well, and to your point, if we could just see
the hole looks big for Scottie.
He's rolling it so well right now. It's arguably the best I've seen Scottie roll the putter in maybe ever. But that is the problem, though, is he doesn't read the putt well. Like, the stroke's great. The roll of the ball is great. Everything is looking so much better than it was even 6 months ago. But yeah, if we don't get a little better greens reading out of him, this is not a course where you can burn edges and get away with it. Like, the ball is going to be 8, 9, 10 feet past the hole if you're doing that.
Right. And that's the one thing Scottie does have is the ability to place the ball on approach to the below the hole where he's left with uphill makeable birdie putts. And he puts himself in position for more of those than anybody else. So if Scottie's good off the tee this week, he might not be beatable. But if he's a little bit off, everybody's back in play here. And at plus 270, I just can't justify it.
So I am going to do it. I got him at 280.
I'm going to do it. Watch me do it again.
I got him at 280.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that that's a good number by any stretch.
It's
in this
not, but it's Scottie Scheffler.
Field of elite players, right? But
Yeah.
But here's the thing, like when you look at statistical analysis of Scottie Scheffler, like he finds a way to get it done every week. He is there in my mind, there's little or no debate left, at least on this season. Like I'll bang the drum for Rory whenever I can about being the best player in the world. But the reality is right now, Scottie Scheffler is just eclipsing everyone. And so I think it's almost silly not to take it, right? Like,
yeah.
Because the chances are the way the carnage is going to play out at this course, like even a live bet on Scottie isn't going to be substantially better. So if you like Scottie the way I do this week, I say go ahead and get in on him. He's at 275 right now at DK, so it hasn't slipped a ton, but
it's going to stay right there. And we're a long ways away from negative odds that we got on Tiger Woods in between 2000 and 2006. Scottie Scheffler's still giving us plus money to win, and he's winning pretty much half the tournaments he's been in, and four of his last 6. It's scary out there for the whole PGA Tour. All the live guys coming into the majors, they're scared too, because Scottie is the guy. He is the guy, and it's not even close right now. With Rory's struggles, I still like Rory's number. He's going out at plus 1,200 on DK right now. I love Rory at that price. If we're getting scared money on the books right now because Rory went +9 in Canada last week. Scared money is my money.
Well, I wonder if Rory gets even deeper because of what's going on with Bryson and Rahm. I wonder if you wait this out a little bit, if we start getting closer to like that plus 1,500 mark for Rory.
Because we were getting Rahm at 14-1, now he's at 12, and we were getting Bryson at 12, and now he's at plus 750. So obviously we're having to make a judgment call on value on obviously your co-favorite here, Bryson DeChambeau, who bomber specialist like Rory, but accuracy wise off the tee, Rory's got Bryson edged out easily in driving accuracy, which I think is much more important than distance this week. Distance helps, but only if you're in the short grass this week, because nobody's going for the green from a fairway bunker or off the rough off the fairway. You can't reach the green no matter how strong you are. You are looking for short grass to make a better score on that hole if you miss the fairway.
The only argument I would make in favor of Bryson this week has nothing to do with the power. It has everything to do with the fact that Bryson can be very calculated about how he plays a golf course. And my hope is that we get that version of Bryson that comes out and doesn't try to overpower the place, but tries to play it like the mad scientist that he is.
Yeah.
Because
the Bryson that's 13th in bogey avoidance in my model, that's the good Bryson.
And that's the reality is, like, if Bryson tries to overpower this place, Bryson is not going to be sniffing anywhere atop that leaderboard. But we know there's 2 versions of him, and I'm hopeful that we get the mad scientist, and we don't get the Hulk.
Yeah. Well, so I like Rahm. I liked Rahm at 14-1 where I got him. He's going to get shorter and shorter because Rahm is. I mean, he was a teenager when he came here in 2016 and finished top 30 as a teenage amateur. This golf course is a John Rahm golf course, long and straight off the tee, fast greens. He's just got that killer instinct that Cam Young and Tommy Fleetwood don't have. Can he be frustrated and completely bomb out of this thing? Of course, because it's John Rahm. If we get good John Rahm, he can absolutely win this tournament going away. And at 14-1, I'm willing to take that risk, just like I am with Rory playing like horrible garbage right now. Rory McIlroy, 12-1 is Rory McIlroy. I'm going to bet on every single time because it's still that guy. He can still let it click in a moment's notice. And then you have major competitive level elite golfer, Rahm and Rory. That's where I'm going. Those are the 2 guys I'm betting on at the top of this board.
Yeah, I think so. I'm definitely going Rory. I snagged him at the plus 1,200.
You are going for the Rory?
Well, here's the thing. I had talked myself out of it completely, but when
I brought you back in.
Well, I saw the juxtaposition that happened with the odds, and I was like, I can't not bet Rory at double-digit odds.
No.
And to be honest, I'm expecting it to go a little bit longer yet, and I'll probably double back down on it. But But so I think with Rahm, what actually piques my interest a little bit is, especially for the weekend, if Rahm can put together a couple good rounds Thursday, Friday, when we get into that weekend where we've got a little stronger wind, etc., like Rahm with that short, compact, low
Low ball
penetrating
flight.
driver
Yeah.
that he can hit.
Yep.
I think Rahm is very, very live here, depending on how the weather goes. Now, as of right now, I think he's definitely competing come Sunday because I know what the weather is supposed to do. But the Rahm is super volatile. I mean, if Rahm has a couple bad shots on Thursday,
it's over.
mean, he may not get himself to the weekend. But we don't talk as much as we used to about ball flight and about swing mechanics. But this is a situation where it's worth calling out because Rahm has a kind of a unique swing that lends itself to playing pretty well if conditions get windy.
Speaking of guys who do not play well in the wind or under pressure, or if there's anything going against perfect conditions, Collin Morikawa rates out very, very high in both of our models. 25-1 seems an extremely long odds for a guy of his caliber. Can we do it, though? Can we bet on Collin Morikawa to win a major when he hasn't done anything in 3 years?
Collin Morikawa cannot putt. Like,
it's true.
I'm just calling it what it is. The guy can't putt. I mean, he has moments of brilliance, but you just can't count on him to do it, and you certainly can't count on him to do it for 4 rounds.
Conversely, on fast and lightning fast greens, Collin Morikawa is 34th in strokes gained putting over his last 24 and 4th in 3-putt avoidance. Do with that what you may. Not many of these rounds that are in the 24 rounds that I'm filtering for are at Oakmont in the U.S. Open. Actually, none of them are. So I think we have to say, okay, stats versus can we picture a guy who has shown 0 clutch gene in 3 years to actually pull this off for us at 25-1. Dude, I'm a little shaky.
He's on an obscene putting streak right now. Yeah. And just to be clear, what that equates to for Collin Morikawa is a half a stroke gained.
And that's crazy because he's one of the straightest guys off the tee. He's one of the best approach players in the world. But God, man, just give him some putts. Like, see him go in. Seeing something go in on fast greens, he seems to be more comfortable. It's just like this dude cannot figure it out on the greens and majors, especially like Olympic Club. That was 3 years ago, and it's a long time ago. It feels like it was a million years ago where Collin was making everything at Olympic Club. Shout out NorCal.
Yeah, I mean, there's some work to do there. I like the number more than I like the guy.
You love Tommy Fleetwood. I need to move on from Collin because he's just ticking me off. But Tommy Fleetwood, you're going to tick me off because you're going to say, oh, Tommy Fleetwood's going to win his first ever tournament in the history of the world at Oakmont in the U.S. Open.
Well, the first thing I'm going to say is I like Niemann at 30 better than wasting money on Morikawa. So we already talked about Niemann a little bit.
I'll rubber stamp that. That's fine.
But yeah, with Fleetwood, look, I mean, here's the thing. And I said this to you last time we got an argument about Fleetwood.
Which I always win because he never wins.
What an indefensible position you put me in with that commentary. But like the reality is this is Tommy Fleetwood has what 41, 42 top 10 finishes now.
Mm-hmm. And it is noteworthy that his odds of top 10 this week are plus 240. And I'm still not interested this week, but you could convince me that on a grinder type golf course that he could finish top 10 and he would pay you good money for it. Is he going to be top 5 here? No. Is he going to win here? Absolutely not.
I think he has a good shot at winning here. And I think that mostly because of it's actually not the par 5s. It's not the par 3s, but it has everything to do with the proximities for the shorter par 4s, right? I said that there was going to be a lot of holes that offered golfers reprieve. Yeah. And those are Tommy's actual sweet spots. And so again, I like Tommy in a situation that requires grinding, that we don't have to go super low. And as the weather gets worse, Tommy gets better. There's just a lot of things lining up for Tommy this week. And dude, I hate on Tommy all you want for not winning, But the reality is anybody that's in the top 10 as frequently as Tommy is, especially with the stroke
He's good.
variance from first to 10th in a lot of these tournaments, we're talking about a couple strokes.
Yeah.
And Tommy Fleetwood can absolutely make up a couple strokes just on Saturday when the weather is horrible.
Fast greens, difficult conditions. Tommy Fleetwood, 122nd strokes gained putting. That's why he loses.
I'm not worried about Tommy Fleetwood's strokes gained putting, and I'm not worried about his strokes gained putting because over his last 2 starts, he's gained almost 4 strokes average. Like, the guy is putting really well right now. As a matter of fact, he's only lost strokes putting once in his last 5 starts. So, like, he's gaining more strokes right now putting than he's gained in his last 147 rounds of golf. Like,
yeah,
the putter looks good, man. Like, this is a good setup for Tommy Fleetwood.
Well, at longer odds, and a guy who has also gotten flack for not finishing tournaments, including the 2016 U.S. Open at Oakmont, is one Shane Lowry, who, depending on the book, between 45-1 and 50-1, I would take him a million times out of a million over Tommy Fleetwood, even odds. And he's getting much longer odds, and honestly should have won here 2016. He should have won a lot of tournaments in between now and then because he's simply elite from tee to green. And he's just like Tommy, similar to Tommy, kind of lost his way at finishing tournaments. He's won plenty. He's won majors before. This is a Shane Lowry week for me. 50-1 where I got him. That's a green flag full ladder bet for me.
Yeah, the Irish pride in betting Rory, right, at double digits. I'm afraid of missing out. But with Shane Lowry, the odds actually seem almost insulting. Like, this
50-1 for Shane Lowry. He's playing really well this week or this year.
Playing great golf this year. And again, another situation where grinding it out, adverse conditions. Like,
let the weather get nasty because Shane's going to the top.
These are typically things that, yeah, exactly, just propel him upward. You know, if there's a knock on him, it's truly that, like, he doesn't usually tend to fare very well on longer approach metrics. So, like,
right,
the par fives are going to be a moot point for him. But where he balances that really nicely, very similar to Tommy Fleetwood, is on par 4 scoring. Lowry's in the top 10, and when you break it down more to the actual distances that we're looking at on the majority of these par 4s, the bucket is great, and the scoring rate on those yardage is also great. So
Lowry's 7th in my modeling, and we're full steam ahead. Yeah, he's a good play this week. Amazing play at the odds. We got to keep moving through this board. Do you have anybody else in that mid range?
In that mid range, got a lot of interest in Sepp Straka at 50-1 as well.
Are you worried about his short game? His short game scares me.
Well, he's
very accurate. I'll give him that.
So the putting doesn't scare me. 18th in 3-putt avoidance, 19th overall in putting. Fairways gained 12th, greens and regulation gained 3rd, opportunities gained 3rd, bogey avoidance 5th, 3rd in overall approach over the last 36. He's similar to Shane Lowry, though. Par 5 scoring is going to be a challenge for him here, especially with the length. So that's the risk. But at 50-1 for a guy who's won twice on tour and followed up his last win with a 3rd place finish.
Yeah. Number 152 around the green. So that's a non-starter for me on Sepp Straka.
The around the green game doesn't bother me as much this week because it's such an anomaly. Like, the around the green game here is different than anywhere else on tour.
It is. It's tougher.
But it's an equalizer. Even good guys are going to struggle around the green here.
I think the bad guys are going to struggle way more than the good guys are. Let's see here. I'm going to go down to our guy who broke our heart last week, Sam Burns, 90-1. I'm going all in on Sam Burns because he puts the lights out and his approach game is much improved, especially Sunday where he shot 62. His approach game was dialed in. He'd rolling in everything until he got to the playoff. He made everything he saw until he got to the playoff against Ryan Fox, then forgot how to finish. But Sam Burns at 90-1, I'm going crazy on Sam Burns at that number. He's so hot right now.
Yeah, I'm not going to back off Sam Burns. I'm only showing him at 80, so good on you for getting him at 90. But yeah, I like Sam Burns. I really, really like the top 10 number at 400 too. So
yes, that's so sexy.
Guy that I'll just mention quickly, statistically, probably not a whole lot to back it up, but Patty Reed at 100-1.
Grinder.
Getting into a little longer shots here.
Grinder and great short game. So, yeah, Patrick Reed. And guess what? There's only one comp course for Oakmont, and it's Augusta National.
Where Patty Reed typically plays pretty well.
Yeah. Short game plays everywhere.
Yeah, so a lot of interest in Patrick Reed, and also in like DFS, he's reasonably priced. So he's just kind of a nice piece to a lineup.
All righty, moving down. I have Keegan Bradley, Captain America. Hasn't done well in U.S. Opens, but he does have the tee to green game to play well here if he can make any putts at all. We're looking at pretty good number on Keegan. And I'll round out with a guy I know we agree on, Denny McCarthy, pride of Montgomery County, Maryland. Denny, my guy, the quintessential grinder, amazing U.S. Open history. One of the, represent the DMV. Denny McCarthy, 150-1, hit the full ladder on that because this guy is a grinder. Incredible short game, incredible putter. If he can get off the tee accurately this week, he is going to be in contention.
Yeah, zero argument from me. And like Denny McCarthy is the type of guy that goes back to that more plotting methodology that I was talking about Bryson maybe being able to employ here. And so Denny's pretty live, I think, with the overall accuracy that he has. Very controlled on off the tee and on approach, and world-class putter. So great number on Denny. Definitely going to hammer that one. And then the other guy I was going to mention down in that range, scrolling, is Matt McCarty.
This guy's been under the radar, playing pretty well this year.
And not only that, but you just called it out, and he had a 14th place finish at Augusta. He is 400-1 to win this tournament.
Boom.
And a lot of things to like about him. Great
McCarty. Yeah, McCarty's going in my DFS lineup. That's a spoiler alert.
Oh, hammering it. $5,700 on DK.
Ka-ching!
But what I think goes overlooked with him is we know he's a world-class putter, but long par threes, he is 7th in this field. So I rated out 225 plus par threes, which there aren't a ton on tour, probably limited sample size here, but he did rate out 7th on that. And then the proximity bucket from 125 to 150 and in, he's in the top 30 in that range, which is going to cover a significant amount of the par fours based on the driving prowess. So I think I really, really like what McCarty has to offer at this course. And to your point, Bo, just been playing really good golf. He's had a couple missed cuts, which I think is really driving his price down. And, 14th at the Masters, followed up with a 15th at the CJ Cup. Before that, he had a 16th at the Valspar.
Ooh, that's good stuff. Yeah, he's playing solid. He's just as consistent as Tommy Fleetwood.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but
he's not as consistently good, but he's very consistent.
Yeah, so I mean that's a deep shot. I'll have a couple more in my article this week, but yeah, that's probably the one I would leave you on.
All right, you got the hat ready?
I gotta get the hat part on.
So while you're getting the hat, think about winning score and who's going to take this thing.
The hat has arrived.
Sound off in the comments if you want to take a gander at what the winning score is going to be.
Dude, there's no way.
What's the number?
13.
Lucky 13. I don't like my 13 this week.
Rory McIlroy.
Seems good. My number 13, shout out NorCal Maverick McNeely.
I don't hate that.
I don't hate it. I just don't like it as much as everybody around him. Bryson is my 12. Hideki's my 15. Xander's my 16. Like, I got all these great guys surrounded around 13, but Mav is 13 on my model.
Look at me influencing people. Burke's all in on Fleetwood.
You guys are just flushing money.
Who's winning this thing? I kind of think Scottie, but
it's okay to say Scottie.
I'm gonna ride with it. I'm gonna say Tommy Fleetwood, and I'm gonna say 4 under.
4 under?
I'm going to say 4 under.
That's what DJ shot. There's no chance. So I would say if Tommy was going to win, I would say it would be a +8 winning score because that's the only chance he's got.
Good Christ.
I'm going to say the winning score would be +4, and it'll be Shane Lowry.
I do like Shane Lowry. I was really torn.
+4, not -4. -4 ain't happening this week.
I think -4 is happening. Thursday, Friday are supposed to be awesome.
Yeah, awesome means your leader is going to be -1, maybe.
We'll see.
We will see. Carnage, join us next week for the 19th hole. Live as always on In Between Media and on the radio in West Tennessee. Shout out Memphis. Join us.